Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Divine Journey. So, since last episode, I've left it running for a bit. We've built up a bit more Deco and some stuff like that. I also added a couple things. I haven't got to the blood magic area. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I did spend a bit of AFK time on here, and I spent some active time setting up a couple farms, but I didn't put as much time into here actively as normal. I did spend a lot of the weekend playing SevTech, so I'll go ahead and tell you I was building on there and stuff. So, but I did get. Let's see if we pop over to the Minicio farm and we load into this monstrosity of a structure. Right over here we have a Ghostwood farm. Now this thing is not the fastest thing in the world. Ghostwood, as you probably know, is probably the fastest growing wood, I think, in Minecraft. At least in standard packs, you know, Naturas and everything. Ghostwood is like the fastest thing. Like if you need a lot of wood, Ghostwood is the way to go because it grows extremely fast. It grows huge, and yeah, it's there's a lot of wood here. And I've got a harvester here running, and I mean it's getting ghostwood and saplings and everything. Then down here, of course, I have a planter. It's pretty much the exact same setup as over there, except it's only pumping into a tank and into an ender chest. So that's running and building up our stockpiles of ghostwood. Over here we have another farm. Okay. I'm not going to get close to it. It's so... I should probably put sound mufflers, but personally I like the sound in a strange sort of way. Same with like a lot of stuff. Mechanism. I love the sounds of Mechanism. A lot of people hate them. I don't know for sure about these, but I don't normally come up and look at it. So over there I have a farm that's set up that is producing cave crawlers, the eye, and blazes. So it's producing those and killing them. I was running low on blaze rods, so instead of just adding blazes into this, I mean we need quite a bit of those. I have cows running through here right now because I'm like always low on steak. I've actually got a spawner here, you know, that was caves, or cows and sheep. But I haven't been running them, so... Because spawners actually add up in power usage, and I'm discovering very quickly that stabilized spawners from Draconic Evolution, might as well just go to those. I feel like. So, there's not really any kind of, low amount of spawners around, so it really doesn't take very long to go out and get a few spawners and just set up stabilized spawners. And really these souls do not take very long to run when you have Reaper 5 on a sword. You know, throw it in there, come back here in a little bit, and you got your souls. So, but anyways, that's the two major farms I set up. I have not set up the Blood Magic farm yet. That was one thing, or not Blood Magic farm, but the Blood Magic automatic tables. We don't really need them this episode in particular, I don't feel like. And though I did just order 1,000 simple catalysts. So, wow, it's already ran through quite a bit of them. It's already ran through a fair number of them. Yeah, we got 39. Okay. I actually just ordered it like right before starting this episode, so. But that's because, I mean, we only need like 4 or something simple catalysts today. But I wanted to go ahead and get a bunch of those being made. But I am going to set up dedicated tables. That's probably the next thing I'm going to be working on. And then I need to build the Tinker Smeltery back and some stuff like that. So, anyways, today there's 2 things that I want to work on. 2 things in particular. Oh, by the way, one thing I wanted to cover really, really quick. I need to get around to finishing out like that. And making the tier 6 blood altar. We're going to do that, I promise. Basically, I'm waiting to do the tier 6 altars until I craft runes for all 4 of our altars. And I haven't got around to crafting those. So, but I was looking at this tab, and I got to thinking. Okay, there was a lot of talk when we first started this pack, like on the Discord and stuff, about how much Minicio you needed, how much Deco you needed, and how expensive this pack was. And granted, I mean, it takes a lot of resources, but a lot of people were saying it was worse than Project Ozone. I disagree. I disagree extremely, especially after looking through the quest book. Personally, I like this pack so much more than Project Ozone 2, because Project Ozone 2 was just like mass number of items doing singularities. And, I mean, it really just, you know, it kind of got to the point of just certain ways that I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that. If you watch the series, if you recall, I was not a fan of that. I love the crafting in this because it's more nested. There is a high demand for obsidian and fire essence and Air Essence and all that, and then Minicio. But I got to looking through here. And you know what? Look at this. When you go through the Dimension Leaper tab, like, for example, I think the biggest use of Zivideco that we have is for making our Infinity Catalysts. Or, yeah, Infinity Catalysts. And to make an Infinity Ingot, you need 2 Infinity Catalysts, and then you also need just a couple pieces of Zivideco. But Infinity Catalysts are 16 Zivideco each, which sounds really steep. And you need, at minimum, 2 Infinity Ingots. So you're looking at 4 of these Infinity Catalysts. But if you really stop and take a moment and take a look at the Dimension Leaper tab, this tab is not, once we have this side done, this side is really not that bad. Because you can do all of that literally with one dimension tab if you wanted to. You don't necessarily have to get a dimension tab for each of these and keep it, because you can alternate out the parts, you know. It's really just getting this initial infrastructure, which does take a few Zivideco. But once you do that, if you look at these quests, starting from like right here, there's 10 Zivi Octo. Okay, that's really high in the chain. And then there's Zivi Onto. And then if you take a look right here at the top, there's Zivideco, 10 of them. There's 10 Zivideco. That's, what, 20 Zivideco already. And then you have all this Zivi Onto. You can literally make, and there's more Zivideco, actually. And more Zivideco. Really, you only need 64 Zivideco for all the Infinity Catalysts that you actually need to the point where you can start making everything creatively. So, in truth, it's really not that bad, because all the Zivideco that you really need for in-game can be produced here. Because bear in mind, I mean, the Zivi Octo and the Zivi Onto, you can easily upgrade that to Zivideco. We just throw it in our system, and, you know, there's a piece or two of Zivideco. In the case of this Zivi Onto, you're talking about 5 Zivideco right there. And then for these, you get 10 Zivideco. I mean, it's a lot. And then there's more Zivideco down here for the liquids and Icorium blocks and stuff like that. Not to mention Chaos Shards. Anyways, today what I want to work on, first up, is I actually had a request. We'll take the request first, and then we're going to move into power. I had a request to automate villager souls, because we are going to need those. The I can never remember the name of it. It is the Enticing Crystal, this right here, which does require a villager soul. And if you recall, a while back I mentioned that we're going to get into this at some point, so we might as well go ahead and do it. So anyways, I had a question about these, and I wanted to go ahead and set them up, because we are going to need Enticing Crystals to make the frozen cores, which we need, as you can tell, quite a few of these to make the, the water crystals. So might as well go ahead and do it. I mean, the rest of this is all really easy. It's just these frozen cores. Generally, these crystals, I've noticed, it's mainly just automate the parts that go here, and the rest of the crystal is like super easy. So, I mean, runes take like a second to craft. We need to get the blood magic stuff automated better, but just constant running. But so anyways, we're going to go ahead and start with that. And there's a few things that we're going to need. I'm actually going to, I think I've got 5,744 emeralds. Do I need these particularly for much of anything? I really don't think so. I mean, the main thing I ever use these for is like storage upgrades, and it's not even that common that I use them. So in truth, I think I'm probably just going to pull the Safari Net. I can always set it back up. The Safari Net and the spawner that's down there that's making the emeralds. I mean, we'll use them for enticing crystals, but 5,000 is going to last us a long time. I've had that thing shut off for so long, and I haven't turned it on, like, very often. I mean, honestly, most of my emeralds, I think, at this point are coming from the miners, more so than the villager setup. So what we're going to do, let's order ourselves an autonomous activator. And we're going to do this, I mean, this is going to be identical to the way that I have it set up in Project Ozone. Okay, so what we'll have is autonomous activator. We're also going to need to get ourselves a couple interfaces. And I don't know necessarily if we need these. We'll grab import buses. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the main thing. I think I have soul vials already automated, right? Yeah, I did. Automate them for this stuff. Okay, so let's pop over to the mob district. And I'm just going to steal that spawner and that Safari Net. I mean, the infrastructure is there, so if I want to set it back up, I can. But I'm not running it enough at the moment to really warrant bothering with this. I'll tell you what, give me a couple ender tanks as well. I can't remember if I have mob essence in an ender tank. I'm just going to set up an ender tank line to transfer the mob essence. Because, of course, this spawner, unlike the Ender IO spawners, this spawner can spawn villagers. Most of the spawners aren't able to. I think the RF Tools spawner can do villagers as well, but... Okay, so there's our Ender tank, and let's get just a couple pieces of, like, lime dye. And there's our other Ender tank. And we're going to go with, like, lime in the center, and then, like, green right there. So white, lime, green sounds good. And we'll just grab those. And I'm just going to plug it up to that conduit line that's pumping the mob essence over. Because I don't want it set up over here. I want it set up in our in-game tower. Okay, so it's pumping essence into that. And then what we're going to do, let's go ahead and pop up here. We're honestly to the point where we have most of the setups that I think we need. Most of the main setups anyways for the in-game. I mean, I've got to do the blood magic stuff. And we got to do some Tinker's Construct setup stuff. But that's I mean, I don't know. That's not to say there's not going to be things that pop up, but I think we're making very, very good progress. So I guess we'll set up the villager setup just in here. Might as well. So spawner goes down right here. And let me go ahead and pull these off. Let me throw on my magnetization thing. I had that taken off because I was in the mob spawner and it was just pulling stuff just constantly. Because, funny story, when I was setting up that mob spawner, I came back and it was running and I noticed my item counts weren't really going up. Because, of course, torches. Torches drop from, I think it's the eye. We have 41,000 torches right now. Torches bog up that spawner system if you don't have conduit speed upgrades. And I forgot to put conduit speed upgrades in there, which was awesome. It was very, very good times. So, okay, so auto spawner is going to sit right there, and then we're going to have our ender tank, and we'll just have this setting like right here, and change that over so it can pump essence into this auto spawner. And let me, before this starts going off, let me put a lever on this. I don't want villagers in here right now. And we'll go ahead and block that off. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to get ourselves just a little bit of glass. And I don't know if we just want to use Alf glass. We'll come out 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll just bring it out like that, and then we'll go ahead and add another layer. And that'll be good for right now. Not to say we won't spruce it up or something. So right there, and then let's go ahead and get ourselves... Oh, there's a couple ways we could do this. We could either use conveyors, fans, obelisk, attractors. We'll just use conveyors. They're straightforward and simple. But what we're going to do, our autonomous activator, we're going to have this thing setting, we'll put it right here, for example. And then let's go ahead and pull up this floor, which is kind of nice because this is a lot of iron. Which, I mean, iron's not really a concern. We have so much iron at the moment. But, even still, I'm saving blocks of iron now. It's an in-game build. Lucky we didn't build it out of diamond or something like that. Okay, and then we're going to have our conveyors. And we're going to, I'll tell you what, will make this a little bit easier to set up. Let me get just a little bit of cobble. And we'll just put down a bottom floor of cobble. Just really, really quick. And I don't want it to be where the spawner is. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our conveyors. And we want them to face and bring everything over to the autonomous activator. Okay, so we'll just kind of lay these out. And of course the pug is snoring again today. It's pretty standard. It's pretty standard. And right here, you can either put a conveyor or you can put just a block. I'm just going to put a block of iron right there. Kind of looks kind of cool. And I'm going to need more conveyors, which is fine. I've got 4 right there, but I'm not even going to bother with them. And we'll do just like this. And then right here, we'll just move the entities over like that. And I'm going to break that off so it can start spawning villagers for us. Okay. And they're just going to go on the conveyors. And then, of course, they're going to get routed over to here. And it's going to be just a mad rush of villagers right up against that autonomous activator, which is what we want. And then we'll go ahead and put our safari net into there, and it'll start spawning for us. And then let's go ahead and let me get this one. Yeah. this one right here. And we're going to go ahead and put that into there. And right here, I want to say configuration, go ahead and clear it out. Oh, we got an Elvis Presley villager, of course. The kingish. He's actually not going all the way over. Maybe I want a conveyor right there. I don't know. If I was to put a soul vial, and, well, it doesn't have any power. Let me plug up power first. So we'll put an energy transceiver right there, and then let's go ahead and come under the floor here, and we'll put one setting right there. And then let's grab that. Connect it to there, and then we'll connect that over. This system's not going to use very much power at all. Actually, I guess I've got a connection over here, right? Yep, right there. Okay. Alright, so these, you can see villagers are starting to spawn now that there's power in this. Autonomous activator's filling up. And then what we can do is, we want it to be right-click, round robin. Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. If we were to put a soul vial into there we go. It makes a villager soul vial, which is what we want to see. So what we're going to do then is we are going to set up our interfaces, and we're going to have one interface that feeds up into our autonomous activator. And let's go ahead, right click the back of that, connect it in, and then let's go ahead and get ourselves basically just item conduits. I think would be the main thing. And I can go ahead and fill this in. So what we're going to do, we'll put item conduit there, and this autonomous activator, let me find that side. We're going to say that you can, extract is always active, but with a filter, you can only extract soul vials with villagers in them. Okay, and then it's going to dump them into the interface. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make a recipe here. And the recipe is just going to say that if you take a soul vial, then you get a villager soul vial. Okay? So that right there. And then let's go ahead and put it into the interface. And we're just about done. Actually, we pretty much are done. We just have to plug this up. And that's pretty much it. Let's get a little bit of this cable. And the only thing is, how many connections am I using? Do I have space for one connection? Oh, and actually this right here, this wireless access point can go. We don't need it anymore. Since we got the wireless crafting terminal, it's not needed. So that saves us a channel right there. But we still had enough channels. So we'll just go ahead and bring this down and over. And I'm going to have to run it a decent ways because I can't plug it into that. That's all subsystem stuff, which is fine. Resources are pretty much infinite, so... There we go. Okay, so that's plugged up. And then what we can do is, which it'll look like sometimes, actually I should probably, I forgot this spawner doesn't shut off on its own. I was thinking it was like the, let me turn that off for just a minute. I was thinking it was like the Ender IO spawners, and it would shut off itself after so long, but nope. Okay, let's get ourselves a detector. Alright, so all we're going to do is we're just going to set up a mob counter. And we'll have it setting, let's see, what's the range on this? I can't remember. Precision sledgehammer. I think it actually is going to cover, like, this whole area. No, it does not. Okay. That's fine because, of course, all the mobs are being pushed to one end. So we can just set the mob counter up just right over here. And I'm actually going to put this underneath the floor, too. So it's kind of hidden back here. So mob counter is going to set right there. We'll just go ahead and rotate it. This should cover the area, which it does. Yeah, so it's going to read all the villagers that are in there, and it's going to emit a redstone signal based on that. And so what we're going to do, let's put... I'll light this up as well. But let's put ourselves down a comparator. And I got a potentiometer as well. So comparator comes out of there, and then it, of course, feeds into some conduit. Which actually, no, it's not emitting redstone signal, is it? No. So we're going to have it come out. I don't really need conduit, though. Let me get a piece of redstone. Redstone's going to come out of that. Right now, of course, it's a signal of 15. That's because there is a lot of villagers up there. And then what we'll do is comparator. And then that's going to feed then into our conduit. And then this conduit, we're just going to run it around. I've actually got the energy connector back here. So let me move that. Okay, so this is going to apply a redstone signal to the auto spawner, and it's going to shut it off. And then all we need to do is we need to set up a potentiometer, and we're going to put it like right here is good, and we're going to say that your signal, let's actually set it to like 5. If there's 5 or more villagers, shut off the spawner. Okay, so right now, of course, there's a bunch of them, but that's fine. We've got villagers for a little while anyways. And then I need to set up the energy connection, or reset up the energy connection. So we'll just put that right there and then bind it over to our autonomous activator. Okay? And that's really all there is to it. Now what we can do is, for example, let's set up a pattern here, and the enticing crystal, right? This takes an emerald, a soul vial villager, and that gets the enticing crystal. So we'll just set that up. Of course, we're not going to put the soul vial in there so it doesn't confuse it and think that's how it needs to craft soul vials. And then somewhere down here, the soul binder right here, we're going to put this right into there. Okay, so then what we can do is we can order ourselves enticing crystals. Let's order 10 of them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dump that into there. But what's going to happen is, here in a second, we should see the autonomous activator is going to get a bunch of soul vials. Chances are it may already have them, or it might be crafting the other steps. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put... There we go. And this needs to be output. My bad. Okay. So input there, output out the back side. Or this side, whatever side that is. Okay, so we just made a soul vial villager. Sometimes it's going to throw them back. So one thing we could do, actually, is just put it first slot only. So the soul vials are going to come into that first slot, and then they're going to get turned into villagers. This is not actively pulling them out. We'll say ignore metadata, because I think we may need an advanced item filter, in fact. Because you shouldn't even have to say first slot only. It should actually just grab them. And that one just stacked. Okay, so what we're going to do then, let's change out the filter here. I think in Project Ozone I was using this filter. And we're going to say ignore metadata, ignore MBT data. And then we can say insert. There we go. And we may actually have to do OR dictionary for this. I'm not for sure. For it to craft the enticing crystals. I guess we'll find out. Because it's a little bit different than my setup in... yeah, see, it still says it's crafting 10 soul vials. Okay, let me cancel this. And for the recipe, oh man, we've got a bunch of simple catalysts, don't we? 246. Okay. Actually doesn't take all that long to craft. Let's grab the enticing crystal recipe. And all we're going to change is right here, we're going to say OR dictionary, allow, encode. So if I was to order 10 enticing crystals now, yeah, see, it doesn't even need the soul vial. Well, it still says it's crafting 9 soul vials. Okay, I'll tell you what, because I will set it up a little bit more like I had in Project Ozone, which I know will work. I was thinking that would work, but maybe not. So let's get ourselves a soul binder. And then let's go ahead and actually, let me go ahead and grab one of these, and let me get a machine chassis. There's our soul binder, and we're going to make this all just one recipe. Enticing crystals and everything. Okay, so, and the soul vial. We don't actually need all of that. Because really, I don't think we're actually not going to have any need for anything. So we're going to say that if you send, what we're going to do is just say that if you send a soul vial, well, actually, you know what? We don't even have to send the soul vial. We can just send an emerald. Yeah, let's do that. Let's actually do that. So what we're going to do, we're just going to say that if you send an emerald, you get an enticing crystal. This is actually really close to how we had it on Project Ozone. So that's going to make enticing crystal. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and just grab, like, say, 7 soul vials. And then what we're going to do, let's grab that off. We don't need it anymore. And right here, if I can get in here, we're going to change the interface so that it points in this direction instead. And let's replace that alpha class there. And we're going to set our soul binder then right here. Okay, so that's where the recipe is going to go. These villagers are just like attacking. Okay, so 1 emerald makes an enticing crystal. And then we're going to say that you can push-pull from the back. And then we'll put our octadic capacitor. I'm going to have to get an ender tank with our liquid line. That's fine. We'll take it a second. Let me actually go ahead and just order an ender tank real quick. Though, you know what, really? We will never use this much XP. So let's just use this. Might as well. Because I'm never going to be able to use through all this XP. I've just kind of got it here because, you know, it's here in case I need XP. And we'll set that to push on this side. So that way it pushes into our soul binder. And then we're going to say that you can, we'll say pull from that side. And then all we need to do is, let me grab another filter. And this one is extracting villagers, and we're inserting them into this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have an extraction line right here, and it only takes empty soul vials. Extract, we're going to keep white, actually, we're going to say match metadata for that. And then it can insert, and let's actually change the line color. So we'll say brown line, extracts from here, inserts into there. Green line, extracts from here, inserts into there. And that one's filtered on extract. This one is filtered on extract. And so then what we can do is we can just take these soul vials that we made, put them into here. And it's going to make villager soul vials. And it's only going to be able to use the first slot. So it should never have an actual soul vial in that slot. It'll never like try to put the villagers back down. It's just going to be grabbing villagers and it's going to be putting them into here. And so then if we were to order, say, an enticing crystal, let's order 10 of these, for example. 10 emeralds go in there, it gets XP, and then what's going to happen is it's going to craft, oh, you know what? You know what I didn't do? We have to plug this up to the energy line. Now bear in mind, there is the energy, the wireless energy transceiver that we could use. If you so desire, you can. I'm just using transceivers, they're cheap. So this actually needs, well, we'll just connect it over here because I'm piggybacking so much on these. Okay, so it's crafting an enticing crystal, and as soon as it gets finished, there we go, that stuff gets pulled out, and a new emerald and soul vial come in, and then they're going to get crafted. And you can see that it's never going to go below, well, you know what? I don't actually need push-pull, though. Yeah, let me change that real quick. It's only going to pull from the back slot. And then, because it's pushing my soul vials back in, we want to keep the same number of soul vials in that system. So what we're going to do then is, I'm running out of slots here. Okay, so right here, let's grab our enticing crystal and let's set up one more filter. And then we'll just insert that into the interface with the filter. So only enticing crystals can get pulled out and dumped into the system. Okay, so then everything should be working perfectly. So we should see here in a second. Oh, and you know what? One more thing that I derped on. This brown line, yeah, we need to move it. So we'll just say extract only. And then what we'll do, because these thermal expansion machines can't push-pull from the same line. Okay, so this line right here, we're going to say that you can insert on the brown line. And do like that. And I've got this kind of like jerry-rigged for right now. This will change. But for right now, I don't have the facades on me to fix this. So the villagers are trying to jump on top of the ME cable and jump over this. Once you have the facades in, it's not going to matter. But I might change some of these blocks. So, and this spawner should be running. Yeah, it is. Okay, the redstone went off because there's not enough villagers in here to make it happy. So it's spawning more. And there we go. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's making enticing crystals. It's keeping stocked with soul vials. I am going to add just a couple more to this. Not like it's actually really needed. Honestly, like 2 soul vials will be fine. And so we got 13 enticing crystals. And once again, I can go ahead and order, say, 10 more. Emerald comes in. And here in just a second, we should see a soul vial pop into this for just a moment. And then it's going to get turned over to a villager soul vial. There we go. And it'll never go back in that first slot. So if you keep it on first slot only, it's not going to keep dumping your villagers back and forth. And there we go. So that's pretty much done, I'd say. Enticing crystals are automated, and then of course we can easily automate the frozen. Go ahead and turn that back. The frozen core, which is just enticing crystals, icy core, and large snow bricks, which I'm sure I'm going to have to automate these. There we go. And actually I should probably use that recipe real quick. The only thing I don't know that I have is icy core. I know I've got it automated, but which that's probably going to take a little while. I'm not going to order that just yet. But then I could put icy core in there, and it could, it could craft frozen cores, no problem. Wow, we're up to 13 Zivi Deco. I hadn't looked at that in a little bit. We're definitely climbing at the moment. And it's funny because nether stars, we have 12,000 of those. Now that I'm not using them for power, they're building up like super fast. Wow, we've got a lot of dense netherite blocks. We've got a decent amount of blood gem. They're a little bit more rare than the netherite, I think, because the netherite drops so many whenever it drops. Anyways, that build is done. So hopefully that helps if you're having issues with the enticing crystals. Now let me pop over to the blood magic district. I'm going to stop those simple catalysts for a minute because I do need access to that line because it's still making 563 of them. So I just kind of threw this in here to start running, just kind of passively build up some simple catalysts. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is I want to make some particle generators. I'm going to need 4 of these in total. So I'm also going to need a core as well, but we're going to need to make these particle generators. Now they're not terribly expensive. Stone braces requiring reinforced slates. There's some simple catalysts right there for output spell cable. And then we're going to need some more reinforced slates. And then a projectile core for each of these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and order... we'll start with 4 projectile cores. So we'll go ahead and get those ordered. And then in addition, we are going to need to get we need to get ourselves an energy core. This is actually really straightforward to make. And then we're also going to need to get just a few of these energy pylons, which take cryo-stabilized flux ducts. Did I automate cryo? Okay, I didn't automate cryo-stabilized flux ducts. What all are these used for? Oh, just energy pylons. Okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do then. Let's, I'll just make these manual, I guess. Because they craft so many, and they're not difficult. I just need 1 set of them, in truth, for right now. And let's pop over to the Thaumcraft district real quick. So for the energy core, it's 2 Wyvern energy cores, a Wyvern core, and 4 Draconium. And we'll go ahead and get this thing running. So that's going to start pulling in the stuff. And then we're going to need to get ourselves, let's see, actually, let me go ahead and order a bunch of reinforced slates. Go ahead and give me like 30 of those. Because I am going to need those to craft the stabilizers. And then for the energy pylons, 2 draconic cores, 2 draconium blocks, and a cryo-stabilized flux duct. So the cryo-stabilized flux duct, we're going to need to make, well, the resonant flux duct. Do I have that? I do. Actually have those automated. And I'm just going to manually make this because, I mean, in truth, we're only going to need, like, maximum, maybe 4 crafts of this. So, there's not a whole lot of point in messing with it because it'll take longer to do that than just manually make it, in truth, so. And it doesn't take but a second to craft. You can see it only takes 20 Essentia to get this thing crafted. And there we go. There is our empty cryo-stabilized flux duct. And I tell you what, let's see, let's go ahead and get ourselves the particle generators. These are a little bit more involved, so we're going to need 2 draconic cores, 6 blaze lamps, and 4 blocks of redstone. Not sure why I always have so many draconic cores. Like, it's only supposed to keep 64, but it tends to have, like, more than 64 all the time. Like, it always has a bunch of them. There we go. This might be something I automate, which it'll be after I do the blood magic stuff, because I'm going to do a bit of automation with that. let's see. We're going to need a blood magic particle generator. So output spell cable. There's that. Then we're going to need 2 stone braces. There's those. And then a peridigm plate. There's that. And then the particle generator. I'm going to have to make 3 more of those, though, because we need 4 of these particle generators altogether. And there we go. It's going to activate. That's going to take a little while to run. It does require 3 stacks of Essentia. And let's see how this is doing down here. It's still got a minute to craft. I'm so glad that we have this armor now, because I can actually see stuff without having to change to the Thaumcraft armor all the time. And then let's pop over here and get our cryo-stabilized flux duct. And then we can craft our pylons. There we go. So much stuff running right now that it's just like so lagged out. One thing I'm curious about, is the particle generator used for anything? The transceivers, I can live without these. I can't think of much use that we're going to have that I'm just like, man, I need those. So honestly, I'm not too worried about that. The energy infuser, which we'll probably be getting into next episode, and that's it. So it's only 4 particle generators per setup. And actually, do we even need the draconic infuser? It's fast. It really is. But you can actually make capacitor banks faster. Be this one. Yes, we do need it. Yeah, it's useful for creating charged draconium blocks. But another thing that's really useful for making charged draconium blocks is a bunch of vibrant capacitor banks. So let's order like 200 of those. Wait, let me... Will we be able to? Because... Let me actually bounce back here. Okay, let's do it like this. 200, start. Let's hold shift and try. Yeah, it doesn't want to craft that many. It really doesn't. Let's do 100. Okay. We'll order them at 100 at a time. Because if you put a bunch of vibrant capacitor banks together, it charges like super fast too. It can actually be faster than the draconic infuser. And might as well. I mean, yeah, we could use the draconic infuser, but I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, and then to make the energy pylons, well, actually, let me go ahead and do the particle generators. These are the worst out of reinforced plates at the moment. So I'm going to order 2 more of those. I only need 1 more craft of this. So. But to be honest, that's why I haven't even worried about capacitor seeds, because they craft, like, vibrant capacitors craft so fast as is. And if you recall, I wasn't wanting to do a ton with magical crops. I mean, a little bit here and there is fine. But I don't want to just go overboard with magical crops. Like certain things, it's just that's part of the pack, is do a little bit of magical crops. But I don't think we have to do it to an excessive extent within the pack. Which actually makes me happy, because magical crops is something, it's fun every once in a while, but not all the time kind of a thing. Okay, so I got 2 more particle generators crafting. Now we've actually probably knocked out a quest. Energy core we knocked out, which does not have a reward. And then, is there not... Yeah, energy pylons. Oh, I haven't actually crafted those yet. And then particle generators, we need 4 of them to complete that quest. Okay, well, while that stuff's running, while those particle generators are going, let's go ahead and pop over to the endgame tower. And we're going to go ahead and set up the energy core. And we're going to have this over here on the roof. And I have an idea for possibly doing... I'll probably actually just do 2 draconic cores. I'm going to have 1 over here and 1 over there, is kind of what I'm thinking. So let's get ourselves just a bit of cobble to kind of help build this out, because it will definitely help us. And we're going to set it up. We're going to have the core setting like right in here. It's not exactly centered because there's not an exact center on this, but this will be a very, very good spot. So let's just bring this up a little bit. To like right there, I think will be good. And we'll put our energy core down, sitting right there. And then let's get out our draconic tablet. By the way, I have charged draconium. I did like, this is close to, let's see. Yeah, I have 156 charged draconium. Just leaving it running with this was really what did it. And I used some of it because I made a little bit more awakened draconium between episodes, but AFK, it does take a while. It does take a while for this to fill it. But if you just kind of keep that in your hotbar when you're AFK, or keep it in your hand when you're AFK, you know, now that I think about it, do we even need... I will say, I mean, I think the draconic flux capacitors output more RF. I'm not for sure, though. Because I think they output, like, instantaneously. This has a max of 20,000 RF per tick. But I don't even know... I guess we could just make more creative flux capacitors, because I think each could output 20,000 instead of using these for fighting the Chaos Dragon. That might actually be an option. But anyways, Draconic Information Tablet. And I am going to break away from this in a minute to go over and... Oh, that's not working. Why does it do that? This book is a bit buggy, so just a heads up. Okay, so for the maximum size multiblock, because we're going to make the tier 7, which stores 2.14 trillion RF. We're going to need 328 redstone and 218 draconium. Okay, so we still got our 4 blocks of redstone from, our particle generator. But let's go ahead and lay this out. And basically the best way to do this is just make a box around this. Like that. And then let's get ourselves our builder's wand. I'm just going to use the regular one so things don't possibly get out of control. And the best thing to do is scroll down to here and figure out exactly how many layers this is. So energy core, there's 1 layer, 2, 3, 4, and then the draconium. So right now we have 1 layer, so then 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4. The nice thing about this is it only does 9 blocks. 2, 3, 4. And honestly, getting the redstone laid out is the worst part of this. Okay, so there we go. We got a bunch of boxes. And then what we need to do is just kind of fill this in. And I believe the top tier... Well, actually, I know we're going to just surround these. Like that. And then we're going to do another layer. I'm just going to manually place these so I don't get blocks like in weird places. The ones are nice, but they don't really beat out manual placement sometimes. And the best thing to do is get the exact number of blocks, so then you know when you've used all the blocks needed for this. So there we go. There's all the redstone placed now. Let me deal with this guy. And before I do the next one, I've got one more particle generator that I need to go queue up, and I need to queue up the energy pylons as well. And it's totally off balance, but... it's fine. There's enough stabilization in there. Oh yeah, and I forgot the particle generator. Goes right there, and we'll activate. And then this one should also be done, and I need to queue up the pylons up here. So they're just 2 draconic cores and 2 draconium with the cryo-stabilized flux duct. And we'll let that go. That's not going to take very long to craft at all. And that's going to complete 2 more quests in the dragon tab for us. And back up to the roof. And see, what I'm thinking is we'll have like another one sitting right over here. That should be good. And then for the draconium, we need 218 draconium. And then all we have to do is just kind of cover all this redstone with draconium. You know, it's funny, I can't think of like any time that I've ever really made the lower tiers, except for like in 1.10, I have had to make the lower tiers because the highest tier, which in 1.10 is a tier 8, which has near infinite storage. It's a massive number. It's like, I don't even, it's like 40 digits long or some madness. But it's a bit expensive because it requires a bunch of awakened draconium. Like a whole bunch. So I have had to make lower tiers in 1.10, but not so much in 1.7. 1.7, the max tier, is not all that expensive because draconium and redstone... Project Ozone, we may have made a different one, but honestly, Project Ozone, it had that changed recipe for the draconic multiblock, but it didn't really like detail it very well, and I hated Project Ozone for that, like, because it was just like, surprise, you can't make this way. It took me like forever to figure it out, and I think I ended up, I don't know if it was going into the configs or something, is where I spotted it. Yeah, I think it might have been the configs, but I think it ended up detailing it somewhere, but it was like in a weird spot or something. I don't know. Okay, now I've got 8 draconium left. This is always the worst part. I think it goes right here, I believe. Yeah, it goes right there on those corners. So we'll just place these out real quick. And then our cores and stuff should be done. Or not our cores, but our particle generator and our pylons. There we go. There's one. And then right up here, we'll go ahead and grab this. There we go. And that gives us 2 of the energy pylons. And then in our quest book, we should have the energy pylon quest is done. We get 20 draconium. Particle generator, we get 20 more draconium. And I'm going to go ahead and order a tesseract. And that's because I need to make sure that the power doesn't stop flowing to those. So I'm going to have one tesseract that I kind of rotate around, which I'll go over that in just a second. So which I'm not going to set all of them up on camera, but I'll set up like the first one and connect it up to show you how this connects up and everything. Alright, so let's go ahead and lay out our cobblestone. It has to be within 10 blocks of the core, so the core is right here, basically. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's already 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll bring them out like 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and run 2 cobblestone back so I can clear this out. And then the particle generator will set right here. And then we'll do the same thing on these sides. And sometimes this thing is a little bit troublesome. Usually if you put it like this though and put your cobblestone on the back so that it has a clear line to the draconium, it tends to work out better in my experience. But sometimes it is a little bit of a pain to mess with. And then we'll shift right click the particle generator and it's going to activate our multi-block. So you can see if we right click this, it is a tier 7 with 0 out of 2.14 trillion RF currently stored in it. I'll just go around and pull these off. And we'll make like little things that kind of come up and connect into our particle generators. I'm not for sure exactly how I want to set those up, but originally I was thinking about putting it on the back of the tower and actually doing like a tier design with like 3 of these, but I think 2 of them will be fine. Should be pretty good. Okay, so what we're going to do then, and actually I guess I could use these tesseracts. I don't know if I want the energy cables to run down or if I just want them to... Actually, I'll probably just run them into the tesseract, or run them from the tesseract, because that way they're getting power from both turbine lines instead of having a beam connect across to connect all this. Oh, it's trying to deal with... It's making so much electrum right now that the tesseracts aren't crafting. Let me pop over and let me sort this out real quick. And by the way, while we're over here, let's go ahead and... Which this area is about to get cleaned up. It's going to be one big, massive, vibrant capacitor bank is my plan. That's why I'm ordering so many of these. So what we're going to do is we can just plug this up. And you could say, like, as we add capacitor banks, it increases the max output. That's why charging draconium with this can actually be pretty effective if you have a lot of them. I don't know for sure if we'll end up going with a draconic infuser or what. But in truth, I didn't really have anything to put where this reactor used to be. So I was like, let's make a bunch of vibrant capacitor banks. Because reasons. Because it'll be fun. So, which I got to rework the whole back of this and everything. But honestly, I don't know if I want to pump the stuff into the vibrant capacitor banks and then from there, then pump it through to, which I don't want to cover this up too much because I do have to get back here to clean all these tesseracts up. I don't know if I want to pump it from the energy storage and then pump it, I don't know, or just have this set up for fun. You can see right now it's outputting 2.25 million RF per tick. I'd say at full capacity we'll probably be outputting, I don't know, maybe 8 million per tick or something. I mean, it's going to charge draconium within like a second. Well, normally within a second, but our tick rate is pretty bad, so it'll probably be a couple seconds. But I don't know if it's going to be faster than the draconic infuser. Probably. But then again, I think the draconic infuser can charge as fast as it gets power, as fast as power is feeding into it. I'm not for sure, but I don't know. I'll play around with it. It doesn't really matter at that stage, in truth. Okay, our tesseracts are done. I didn't end up stopping, or I canceled it, so it ran through the electrum. So let me go ahead and just order, I don't know, another, well, I can't order 200. I'll order another 100 vibrant capacitor banks. And I guess I should go ahead and set up the pylons first. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out like, I'm actually going to put it like right in the center of this. So we'll put an energy pylon setting right there. And then what we need to do is we need to, in order to activate this thing, we need to get a piece of glass. and we are going to put this on the bottom. Now, if it's below the central Y level, you're going to put it on the top of the energy pylon. If it's above the central Y level, you're going to put it on the bottom of the energy pylon. So we'll just put that right there, and you'll notice we get this really cool little like orb thing. And you can see right now it looks like the arrows are pointing out. That means it's output. So what we're going to do is we are just going to right-click this, and it's going to be input. And also this little thing, red is output, blue is input. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a tesseract right there on top of it. And we're going to make this a new line, actually. We're going to say this is going to be line 8, okay? And we're going to call this turbines input. And we'll go ahead and set frequency, add frequency. And this is going to, go ahead and just block all these. And this is going to receive energy only, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up another pylon, and we're going to put this one setting on this side. And these things, I mean, they pretty much have infinite transfer, more or less. Like, you're not going to be max capping them, the pylons. Basically, whatever's connected to them is going to dictate the pylon speed. So, I mean, really, if you want, like, the fastest possible speed, I will say the Draconic Evolution stuff is fast, but the fastest thing is the cryo-stabilized flux duct, which has infinite RF per tick transfer. Also, tesseracts have infinite transfer as well, so either of those will work well. And then let's get ourselves a piece of glass. Put that on the bottom. And we're going to keep this one as output. So the red bar. Put the tesseract there on the top, and we're going to say that this connects to the turbine line. And it's going to receive energy, and we'll set frequency. Okay, so this is going to be pulling energy into the turbine line. And so then what I can do is I can come over here, and we're going to change these over to turbine input and set frequency. And then turbine input, set frequency. And I need to go through and I need to rework all of this stuff now. I need to rework every bit of it. So you can see right now the energy pylon is building up in power. And it should be, yeah, you could see the energy in this energy core is building up. Okay. Now over here, this one is building up power as well, and it'll be sending energy along the turbine line. Okay, so for example, if we pop over to the overworld, and we pop into the tech district. If you recall, this vibrant capacitor bank is connected up. Well, I thought it was connected up to the turbine line. Is it not connected up to the turbine line? Oh, you know what I did? You know what I did? Oops. I just realized. That tesseract, I'm pretty sure I set it to receive power only instead of output power or send power. Oops. Okay. Let me pop back over here. Because I was like, wait, this thing's draining at like 90,000 RF per tick. This is not good. Let's pop over here. Luckily, I mean, there's enough power in there that it can be shut off for a couple seconds anyways. So this right here, we're going to say that you send power only. Okay. Which we might say, yeah, look at that. It just like sucked all the power out of this energy core. But it's all in here. Well, actually, it's probably all in that thing. Because in truth, it's not going to build up the energy core. The energy core is going to be for basically overstock storage. I want to go to the tech district. It's going to be for overstock storage, whereas the vibrant capacitor bank is active storage. And I think that's how I want to run it anyways. I don't know. So I haven't completely decided. So like right now, this thing can store 2.25 billion RF. It's not quite as much as the energy core, but it's still a lot of storage. And of course, we can add more vibrant capacitor banks, each of these increasing the storage by 25 million. And they just create one big super ginormous multi-block. And really you could do all this just through the core and not craft this, but this is just kind of like a for fun sort of thing. It's a because we can sort of thing. So right now it's outputting 3.25 billion RF, which is a massive amount of energy output. There we go. And that's basically how that works. I am going to rework the whole power system and change up these tesseracts because it's kind of a mess right now. But I need to go through all the different areas and change those over and sort everything out nicely. Because right now it's like mob farm is like plugged up to like everything. Library input's plugged up to like everything. It's all a mess. So I'll do a bit of reworking with that between episodes. So okay, and then let's take a quick look at the achievement book. Oh yeah, let me pull these off real quick. Let's take a quick look at the achievement book here. Let's see. We're going to be doing some of this stuff next episode, which I'll go over that in just a second. Build a draconic energy core to store your RF power. We have done that. We're going to be doing this soon too. Automatically resummoning and killing the Ender Dragon. All this dimlet stuff we're going to start getting into. But there's one thing I think I might try to go for before we get into that, which we'll mess with that soon. Well, actually right here, build a dimension full of Ender Dragons. That's what we're going to do. This right here, fully automate the creation of Awakened Draconium. I'm actually just going to go ahead and mark that off because the way that we're going to do Ender Dragons is doing the dimension for that. Because I don't feel like it doesn't take but 3 or 4 minutes to summon an Ender Dragon and kill it. I can actually kill it before its health even stops regenerating at this point with the Staff of Power and stuff. I can utterly destroy it. We haven't even put upgrades in this, so... right here, use the alchemic chemistry set to duplicate netherite and blood gem. We've actually done it with spawners, and it's actually faster, I think, because the alchemic chemistry set's not all that quick. And then craft a creative cache. We've done that. Automatically grow and harvest capacitor seeds. I'm going to leave that unchecked. I don't know that I'm going to even do that, that method, but I'm not for sure. Not 100% sure yet. And then craft a creative flux pack. We have done that as well. Oh, and craft a dire auto crafting table. Oh, wait. Never mind. I thought it was a dire crafting table. I think that's probably the last thing that we've done on here. You can see, I mean, we're starting to get pretty close to the end. And the stuff that we're doing, you know, it's a little bit of a build-up to get it. Oh, and right here, set up an automated way of summoning death and defeat him multiple times. We've done that as well. I think the only other thing back here is Leonard and all this advanced alchemical furnaces. We're not going to be doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark that off because I actually like our setup more. And that right there we're not going to do. We don't ever have a shortage of mana. So we never really had too much shortage of mana for what we had set up. And then the blood magic potions and the field sockets, I'm going to go ahead and mark those off. Because that's something we pretty much bypassed by doing the, you know, going for the essence armor. Since we automated the wither fairly early, we always had the essence stuff. Like before we were supposed to. So, but yeah, that's it. So the only thing that's back here is beating Leonard. And then the rest of it's all Draconic Evolution, the blood magic stuff. So, I will say between episodes, I'm probably going to maybe clean up this tab. Because it's just capacitor seeds, deconstruction table, the distillation pattern encoder, and the awakened Decorium axe, which none of this stuff is too bad. That tab is just Leonard, which we're going to be fighting him fairly soon. Like I said, there's a lot to that though. But yeah, and then most of this, well, I need to craft like these things, and oh, I guess I do have to craft the bound armor. Well, I'll work on that. It's not like I have any shortage of sockets. I mean, I have 1,054 sockets at the moment. I didn't craft as many between last episode and this one because I've got, oh, I'm like, why can't I fly? There we go. But anyways, next episode, we are going to be upgrading the Draconic Armor, which I'm going to go ahead and prep some stuff between episodes just so we can kind of knock that out quick. Because I really don't want to spend a lot of time on it. It's pretty straightforward to do. This will actually complete this the first time we kill the Chaos Dragon. I'm not going to worry about crafting it because I don't... This right here... Really, the only reason that you would need this is if you're moving entities, which we don't... We're not moving entities. So, I don't think we really need this. I am going to craft one, and it's cheap. So, I may actually craft one of these. Go ahead and craft that, and then we'll finish the quest for the Draconium-infused obsidian just the first time we kill the Chaos Dragon. So, but yeah. And I may actually craft one of these just to use. Which actually, the upgrade modifier requires it. So... I don't know. I might craft two. We'll see. I may go ahead and craft this stuff off camera just so we've got it so we can get upgrades, knock those out really quick next episode. And then I think we'll start looking towards dimensions here soon. I may not make any dimensions until we do a little bit more creative stuff, but we'll see. Because I feel like we could probably go ahead and push on to like the creative capacitor bank because like it requires a creative energy cell. Creative energy cell requires 4 of these chaotic cores is the main thing. It does require 4 of these black hole rings, which I've got to do the research for those, and then a creative energy cell, which requires 4 of these creative flux capacitors. But I really don't think it's that bad. These, of course, require creative jetpacks. I am going to have to make a few of these. I'm probably just going to go ahead and automate those jetpacks. So, oh, and then we've got to make draconic flux capacitors. So I'll probably want to automate those as well. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to automate those. But I think the rest of this stuff isn't too bad. It's going to be quite a bit of awakened draconium, but in truth, they're kind of expensive. But I think we could probably go ahead and push on to that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll give it some more thought and see, because it would definitely help with running our dimensions, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay up to date with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. We'll probably be finishing up Draconic Evolution in the next, I don't know, maybe 2 episodes or something. We'll probably go kill the Chaos Dragon, maybe episode after next. And we'll look at some Blood Magic Automation stuff next episode. I'm probably going to set that up off camera because it's identical to what we've done before. So once we finish Draconic Evolution, then we'll be focusing just mainly on dimensions and creative stuff. But I'll see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you then.